Let's move on to the next item on our agenda. We've been mentioning the Unconference a lot, and there's nobody better than Owen O'Sullivan going to explain how the Unconference works, the concept, the idea behind it, and the experience he's had with similar operations. And he's had quite a lot with our friends at DBB and at events from the EBU. And now this is the first time that the Unconference is installed at the HbbTV Symposium. And before I hand over to Owen, just a brief mentioning to you that you are, of course, invited to submit questions you have for Owen. He's going to be the Unconference host. He knows all about Unconferences. So please submit your questions through the little chat boxes or question buttons you can see in whatever software platform you're currently watching this live on. And Owen is very happy to respond. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, Jörn. Nice to be here again for this HbbTV event. I have to say, I don't know about everybody else, but it's the pizza that I'm particularly looking forward to in Napoli. Big fan of Neapolitan pizza, I have to say.
Definitely.
So day one, we've heard quite a lot about day one at the HbbTV Symposium. Of course, day one will happen in plenary. We'll all be in the room together, listening at the same time to the presentations and the roundtables. Very high quality and interesting program. Day two, we're having an unconference. And I know that a lot of people are asking the question, well, what is an unconference? What's it all about? And, you know, it's really quite simple. I think for the unconference, what you have to think about is that it's about smaller groups, focused discussions. So instead of everybody sitting in the room together, we're going to be in smaller groups and we're going to be having focused discussions. And the key thing is that we're going to create the agenda together on the day. So I'm going to take you through some photographs now and a few slides just to explain how this unconference thing works. If you do have questions, as Jörn mentioned, just drop them in the comment box on whatever platform you're using. I'll see them come up here beside me and I'll try to make sure I answer those questions as I go through these slides. So as I say, we're talking about smaller focused discussions, but we do start in plenary. We start with an opening circle and indeed we finish with a closing circle. What does it look like? Well, here are some photographs from unconferences that I have hosted already, whether for the DVB project or the EBU. And you see that indeed we're sitting in a circle. Now, depending on the size of the group and the size of the space we have available, we're not 100% sure how that's going to work out. We may be in two concentric circles in Naples. But the point is, everyone's on the same level. There's nobody standing up on a stage or a podium. We're all sitting at the same level. And together, at that point, we're going to build the agenda. This is what the agenda will look like at the beginning. So you see that we will have times along one axis and rooms or spaces along the other axis. And we are going to together build that agenda. We're going to build it on the basis of pitches. And those pitches will be delivered by you, in fact, our attendees. So here's some photographs of people pitching at previous unconferences. So you see in the bottom middle there, somebody is writing on the large post-it note a session title. So you write your session title and your name, and then you're given the floor and you're given 1 minute to describe, to explain what's going to happen in your session and what you want to talk about. Now, the pitch, after you've pitched, you put your session on the agenda. You see some photographs of people sticking their sessions on the agenda. There's no voting. There's no show of hands to see who's interested in a session. We just pitch and stick your session on the agenda. But it's not entirely unprepared. It's not just happening spontaneously like that. We are already accepting advanced proposals for sessions at this unconference. If you visit the website and go to the program page, you'll see there's a link there through to the unconference day. You'll find a few different links in different places. And on that unconference page, you can find a link to access the submission form, which looks like this. So there we ask you for a few details about the session that you're proposing. And once you've submitted your session, we'll share that on the page with everybody so they can see what sessions people are considering. And just to give you an idea, these are the ones that are already appearing there. So we have all sorts of topics coming up there. Obviously, the key topics of DVBI and targeted advertising are there, but you can see there's data privacy there. There's someone proposing to do something on next-gen TV in the USA. We have something around application testing, around lessons from the HbbTV Plug Fest that have happened in the past. So lots of great ideas there. So you stand up, you pitch your sessions, and at the end of it will take us 30 minutes, 45 minutes. At the end of that, we will have a filled agenda. And we see some photographs of how those agendas look here. And one of the jobs we have in the backroom team is to very quickly get that agenda online as well. So you just see some examples there. We'll probably have an Unconference page on the HbbTV website where you'll be able to access the agenda. Of course, the agenda can change during the day because there may be some gaps in there. There may be some people who change their mind, want to change the name or the focus of their session. So we keep that flexibility throughout the day. Then we move on to the sessions, and like I say, instead of everybody sitting in rows in one room, instead we move to smaller breakouts. So you see here are some photographs of previous Unconferences that I've hosted, whether for the DVB project or the EBU, and you see that the sessions are very much more about people sitting together discussing. There's often sometimes people use the screen to maybe show some slides or examples, but much more often there's flip charts or whiteboards and people are taking notes and really getting deep. You have about 45 to 55 minutes or so once people have gotten into place to really get into the discussions, and we try to make sure that everybody in the room has a chance to speak and contribute to the discussion. We also ask every session host to appoint a session reporter, and they just fill in a very short report: the title, the host, the reporter, what the goal of the session was, a short summary of the session, and what the next steps should be on that topic. So you see here, this was the list in the Unconference Hub for the last DVB World, and when you click on one of those session reports, you get the full session report there. So that was a session on DVB-I there. So really, as this nice quote from Jay Cross, who was one of the people who inspired the Unconference idea, as he says, people go to conferences to learn things, right? You go to the HbbTV Symposium, maybe you go to sell, and maybe you go to network, but you go to learn things. But you often learn a lot more in the conversations you have in the hallway than in the formal conference sessions. So what we're doing is we're bringing those hallway conversations into the main conference room, and we're giving the control back to you instead of to experts on stage. You are the experts, you have the knowledge, and when we put our heads together, we can have a really, really good, rewarding experience together at the HbbTV Symposium with this Unconference. So that's really all I wanted to share today. I don't see any questions that I haven't covered yet coming through there at the moment. I think we've probably covered everything, Jörn.
Yeah, I think so. No questions left. So thank you very much for this insight on the Unconference concept. And of course, if you have any questions regarding this, how to submit your ideas and things like that, Owen and the HbbTV team are there to support you, of course, in any case. Anything else, Owen?
I'll see you in Napoli.
Thank you. Okay, looking forward to that. Great. Thank you for this chapter on the Unconference part.